Can an instructor make you worse? Good question. Let's read it. I'm curious to ask, can an instructor actually make you worse? And if so, how can you recognize it happening versus it's worse because it's a new technique, but it's going to get better? Okay, so let me explain this. There's usually going to be some kind of performance curve, especially if you've been training a long time and you've plateaued out. So let's say your ability goes up and then you plateau out a little bit. Then you go take a course and your skills get, like, not your skill, but your performance will go down a little bit as you onboard new stuff, and then it should go up. That's kind of what we expect. Now, there's a lot of good reasons for that. So let's say, here's a crazy example. I'm teacup gripping my Glock and shooting. Okay, and I'm pretty good like this. I'm pretty good. I'm the best guy at my club. There's like 6 guys in the club, but I'm the best like this. And I would go to a course, all right? And the instructor's like, no, like that's not the way to do it. We're gonna, hold the gun higher up, like so, firm connection with your support hand. It's gonna be easier to be consistent, predictable that way, blah, 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 the whole spiel. Okay, now, while that person is learning to adjust their grip to that new thing, we would expect that their scores are going to go down a little bit because they have to consciously work their way through that and go through this whole process of dry fire training, live fire validation, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it will take some time, some amount of time, whatever that is, for the performance to go up after they onboard the new technique. Now, the question here is an interesting one. Can an instructor actually make you worse? And in thinking about it, how this stuff practically works, I don't really think you're going to see an instructor, like, you onboard a new technique, you go down a little bit. I don't think you go down after that, if that makes sense. If it's the wrong technique, you onboard it, goes down. I don't think you're going to get worse from there. What I think bad instructors do, or bad ideas, bad training methods, what that does is that more holds you in place. Like, it gives you a ceiling. Maybe knowingly or unknowingly, there's some limit now on your performance. So I had this one dude, very nice guy actually. This dude showed up to a course, and he's at that time he was a A-class USPSA shooter, A-class. He's very, very good. But when I asked him to shoot faster than A-class, what would he do? He'd tense up his dominant hand, particularly his pinky, right? Right? Tense up his pinky, his hand, and he just could not get his hand to cooperate to run the gun harder. And he was shooting a raced out shadow too. It wasn't like the trigger was too heavy. I mean, the problem was his hand. It was like, I tell him to go faster than A-class, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't. It was just, and admittedly, he was like, fuck, I'm all fucked up. I can't do it. Well, what was going on here? Well, when he started, he learned draw the pistol and then roll on the pinky pressure in order to drop the dot in. That's what he was taught. And he trained for a couple of years. He got pretty good. He got to A-class. But now, when I'm putting the pressure on him, he can't go faster than that because of this stuff going on in his hand that he trained into his hand. All right? So it's not like it wasn't like a bad idea at the time. A couple years prior, he felt it helped him. He's like, yeah, draw, roll on the pressure, cool. He felt it helped him. But what it did was put a ceiling on him down the road that he then had to train through. I think you're more going to see it that way. It's not like it makes you worse. It's more like you get limited by concepts that you need to then train out of and discard. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Curious to hear yours, guys. Can an instructor make you worse? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.